Good morning. Welcome to Community Voice. I'm your host, Keith Parris. Want to welcome everyone to the program this morning. Good morning, Timo.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Jermaine. What up, Clark? Hey, man. With the people. With the people, brother. Let me do this. I want to be consistent and certainly want to be a person of his word. Last week, I told you that today we would commemorate the birthday of George Floyd. And what really, we should always have been doing it, but what really precipitated this is that George Floyd and Charlie Kirk share a birthday. They're born 20 years apart, but they share a birthday. So, Deba, I don't know if you want to, but today there's some people who said it's the day of remembrance. So, I want to read an article from the Minnesota Reformer. And it says, and this was by Rylan Eashan, right wing celeb Charlie Kirk thinks George Floyd is a scumbag. Right wing celebrity Charlie Kirk opened his appearance in Mankato Tuesday night by giving the crowd some advice. Just don't totally mess up this state. It was built by wonderful Scandinavians, and it seems as if it's being destroyed now rather intentionally. In an 80-minute speech, Kirk called George Floyd a scumbag, railed against urban areas, especially Minneapolis, which is not the town it used to be, and seemingly referenced January 6th while lamenting how if you dare walk into the U.S. Capitol building and take a selfie, they'll put you in solitary confinement. Attendees nearly filled the auditorium for the Minnesota leg of Kirk's national Exposing Critical Racism tour, which Republicans U.S. Representative Jim Hagedorn and State Representative Jeremy Munson among them. In a Facebook post Wednesday, Munson thanked Kirk for an engaging conversation. Hagedorn said he enjoyed attending. Hagedorn's office did not reply to requests for comments. Kirk, the founder of the right-wing youth organization Turning Point USA, has become well known for his efforts to rally young conservative voters and for spreading false claims about about the COVID-19 pandemic, climate change, and voter fraud. In Mankato, Kirk told the audience his tour is named the CRT Tour because of George Floyd's death. And the misinterpretation of that, Kirk debunked falsehoods that George Floyd died because of a fentanyl overdose, that he was illegally counterfeiting currency, and that he once put a gun to a pregnant woman's stomach. On Monday, now remember this article was done in October of 2021. So in October of 2021, on Monday, Texas Tribune reported that the Texas Board of Pardons and Paroles recommended Floyd receive a posthumous full pardon for a 2004 drug charge he received in Houston. The officer who made the arrest has since been indicted for murder and other misconduct. Kirk seemed to suggest that the racial reckoning following the murder of George Floyd by former police officer Derek Chauvin was an overreaction by the most corrupt and disingenuous voices that any human beings could possibly find around anything. Kirk also invoked Garrison Keillor, who got Me Too in 2017 or whatever. He said he seemed to reference Lake Wobegon, a fictional location in Prairie Home Prairie Home Companion, as a real place, while describing the lessons of the show as maybe we shouldn't hyper corporatize our entire lifestyle and all the move to cities and become childless and godless. In closing, Kirk said he wanted to be clear his remarks were framed around the idea that we're no longer in like an economic debate, high taxes, no taxes, more regulation, less regulation. No, he continued, this is civilization defining stuff. Um, and I think the exact quote was that he talked about George Floyd was a scumbag. And then he said, though he should not have lost his life. The reason why I am doing this and I'm holding this up is that Congress in September passed I don't know if it was a law or whatever it was, that October 14th, Charlie Kirk's birthday, would be a day of remembrance for Charlie Kirk. The fact that he shares a birthday with George Floyd, the fact that when he went to Minnesota, he spewed hate. I just want to do it. So today is George Floyd Remembrance Day. I hope, and I'll make an observation. I was going back and forth on whether or not I would post this on my Facebook page. And so I put my mom's birthday out there. I get 100, 200. See how quickly we forget. I asked a question in May of 2020. Was it a movement or was it a moment? And so today, and I don't know if we should declare a National Martyr Day for those folks who have died. I mean, it goes back. We can go to Ernie Lacy here. We can go to Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice, Breonna Taylor, uh, George Scott. There are just names of people who have died and died wrongly, died unjustly. And so I think that we need to be a little bit mindful of this. I know with everything that we have going on in this world, and everybody is, we got this going on. We got the shutdown. We have what's going on in terms of war. We need to understand that we still are in an instance where systemic racism is real. We're being impacted by that systemic racism. And George Floyd was just a great example, and not great in a wonderful way, but great in terms of a prominent example of what happens. Now, in one of the rare instances, there was a level of justice that was achieved with George Floyd, but then there were people, my mama said some folks can't do wrong right, who was telling Trump, you need to pardon George Floyd. Derek Chauvin. And someone pointed out to folks, boy, you should take a civics class. Derek Chauvin was convicted in Minnesota on state charges. Trump cannot pardon someone who has been convicted on state charges. Now, he could pardon him for the civil rights violation that he pleaded to try to get in the federal prison system. He felt like he'd be safer in the federal prison system than he would be in the state prison system. And I think at one point they had to move him. Just like didn't they move Anderson? Yeah.
They moved him somewhere on.
Yeah, he's out of state. Yeah.
Jesse Anderson?
No. The dude that killed
Derek, is it Derek Anderson? Whoever
that killed the young lady.
Killed Sade Robinson.
Oh, that Anderson. I was gonna say, man, y'all lost your mind.
Yeah. So today is George Floyd's Remembrance Day. Today is his birthday, October 14th. So rest in peace there on the just on the other side of the Chili Jordan. Also, just, Facebook, boy, it's a boom and it's a bang. One of my colleagues, Tori Lowe, and then Vaughn Mays had people just went nuts. And I know you all talked about it on Michelle's program, where people are putting all kind of false information out on Facebook, right? And I appreciate what Jermaine said. Jermaine said that when Chief Norman was certain, that should have been an indicator right there. If you would have heard, we need to keep looking, it was certain what had happened. And let me also commend the family for doing the right thing and coming out and tell people y'all need to shut the nonsense down, because this wasn't what it was, what people wanted it to be, because we were watching it live here in the studio in terms of the aftermath, and people were showing up and people were all emotional, and then the family showed up and they were emotional. And that's the other thing. You probably don't want, when you're in an emotional state, to try to do an interview. Too many things can go wrong. Because you don't have all the facts. You're in your feelings. You're going to say some things. But again, let me acknowledge, because we don't always get that. When people are out there on some stuff and, people going to try to defend what the person did. But this family came out. So, and that had to be difficult.
Yeah.
That had to be difficult, because that's your loved one.
Yeah.
And, when they.
But Keith, that's there you have it again. It's like, I'm not going to uphold my child when he or she is wrong. they could have said, "Well, yeah, we don't know if they doctored the videos," but they were realists. I mean, the police showed them that video within 24 hours of what it should have. They had 48 hours to show it to them, and they did it within 24. You know, and I just think class act as far as the way the family and the attorney handled that situation to bring the community up to speed, and then to allow them to release it even sooner than the 15 days
Right,
to even
to shut down
right.
all the nonsense, because people get out there. You think, and I heard this many years ago: those that talk don't know, and those that know don't talk.
Right.
Right. The flip side of that, I was kind of listening to another program yesterday morning, and this idea that people kind of know who did homicides in our community, but they ain't talking. And there could be a lot of reasons why they're not talking, but they're not talking. And then the people out there talking, you just talking. Because a lot of us just like that 15 minutes of fame, just be out there talking. I guess maybe I'm kind of reserved and always wanted to talk because I do it every day. You know, I get sick of hearing me.
And you're not
day.
that good at it either.
And that's the other thing, right? So, you know, I get sick of hearing me every day. And so I can only imagine. But, you know, it is one of these things, and maybe it gets into something deeper where people don't always feel. Can you feel seen and heard? Is that can I do that sentence construction?
Yeah.
That there are a lot of people, but this need for attention, and for some people, negative attention is
it'll do. It'll suffice
because it's attention, man. It and as a person who, at a point in my life, thought attention was really important, I can appreciate the drug, but I understand now, man, that maybe you don't want people paying attention. I'm just saying. So yeah, today is George Floyd Remembrance Day. So hopefully we'll reflect on that. Let me shout out Becky Hammond and the Aces, not just for winning the WNBA, but I don't know if you notice her coaching staff and herself, they all wear hoodies. Becky Hammond has been wearing this hoodie since Trayvon Martin, and to show that memory. And I think Dawn Staley also is still doing hoodies. And I saw a young man, he was on his way to school, and he had his and somebody's out in the car waving. I don't know what he's doing, but he's out in the car in front of the place. So I don't know who he is. Okay, hopefully he'll be able to move. You know, and a lot of these deaths really, you know, they break my heart. But nothing broke my heart like Tamir Rice. Tamir Rice was, you know, this innocent, and I don't know, you know, kids are kids, right? But when you look at him, this kid is almost angelic in the fact that because of racism, you would assume, and that's what Michelle was talking about, the adultification, is that the word, of young Black youth, that we assume that they're older than they are. And so how you thought that this was like a grown man or even a teenager, but even then it was wrong. And then the Cleveland Police Department has its own issues around violence towards its citizens. You know, there's the case where they shot up this car, and the DA, who definitely wants the support of the police union, came out and said, well, we don't know what shot killed him. Oh, really? Because when you really, really want to know, trust me, you're going to find out, right? The forensics is such that you can be so precise, you know what bullet might cause, but because the death was so traumatic because of all the gunshots, and then, of course, they just total indifference to life. Breonna Taylor, you shoot up, and first of all, you're at the wrong place. You know, the person you were looking for wasn't even there. You shoot up the apartment, you kill her. Her boyfriend, then he fires back. It's self-defense because you haven't identified yourself as police, right? These so-called no-knock warrants. And so then you go in, and then it just takes a black man, right, to go in and say, because the black attorney general, the state of Kentucky at that time, had higher political aspirations. He was a Republican, and he basically said, "There's nothing to see here," right? Nothing to see here. And so then the guy is convicted of shooting up a building or that she wasn't even in. It's amazing. And then the fact that people can do it. And now, because it's perfectly acceptable to be racist out loud, right? This is where Charlie Kirk was talking about critical, racism theory, where he tries to dismiss the systemic parts of the justice system that negatively impacts black and brown people. There's so much. Now, look, for black and brown people, there's been a level of distrust of the justice system for years, right? And then you hear this weaponizing of justice, right? Well, justice was weaponized in the 60s, when you had Chicago 7, where you tried to convict these folks of committing a riot or starting a riot that they did not start. It was the Chicago Police Department. This is at the Democratic National Convention in Chicago in 1968. There is obviously Fred Hampton and his assassination, government sponsored, right? Government sanctioned. So the justice system has been used against black and brown people as long as we've been here. That's our reality. Now all of a sudden, and then the insanity of Donald Trump, who in most instances have been found guilty of the things that he's been charged with. He went to a jury and the jury convicted him, right? And at the same time, the people going, "Oh, they just went after him, and he didn't do anything." Yeah, he did. And the classified document case, that he had that was pending down in Florida. The only reason why he didn't go to trial for that was that he won because people said he was running to be president to avoid going to prison. So then he was able to go in, and then his Justice Department, Pam Bondi, goes in and says, "You know what? We're not even going to pursue this. We're going to shut the case down." And they got evidence that he had classified documents. And he wouldn't have been charged if he just would have cooperated and sent them the documents. But oh no, I'm Donald Trump. I'm above the law. All right. Yesterday, I didn't get a chance to really talk about the ceasefire. And I think you need to listen to this. A ceasefire is not necessarily a peace agreement. All the ceasefire says is that current hostilities will stop. The other issues that are still out there are still out there. And I don't even know how to react to this because you got to hear and what if you watch news media, especially broadcast media, is sound bites. And so you're hearing where Hamas is killing Palestinian people. All right. That's not what's happening. They are killing Palestinian people, but the people that Hamas are executing are people who cooperated with the Israeli defense forces to bring the destruction to Palestine. Now, I am not justifying it. I'm just saying this is who they're going after because they're making it sound like they're just killing innocent Palestinians. No, they're going after people they perceive to be collaborators. That's what happens. So if you're hearing that out there, that they're going after Palestinians, you need to dig a little bit deeper to understand that the people that they're targeting and that whole travesty yesterday, starting at Trump's speech at the Knesset and then him going to Egypt. And people said it was very interesting that, you have a ceasefire and the parties to the war are not signees to the ceasefire. Netanyahu refused to go to Egypt. He did not want to have the picture of him and President Abbas, the Palestinian Authority, there taking the picture together. This was like when they did, I want to say, was it Camp David? Or was it under Bill Clinton? Because Rabin ends up losing his life, killed by a Itzhak Rabin, who was the president, who wasn't the president, prime minister of Israel. They had come up with a peace agreement, and he lost his life because the right wing in Israel, see, the right wing in Israel, those very conservative religious folks, they want to see the war continue, right? They hate Palestinians. And so they'd like to see Palestinians basically wiped out. They're also in the West Bank where they're doing these settlements. And it was something that Netanyahu said yesterday that the international community definitely disagreed with, was during the 7-day war, part of Syria, the Golan Heights, was taken in the war by Israel. There has been amendments in the UN that the Golan Heights should be restored to Syria. To this day, Israel still occupies the Golan Heights. And he said, Netanyahu, in his speech yesterday, thank you, Mr. Trump, for acknowledging our occupation of the Golan Heights. So you can be critical of Israel. This is not directed at Jewish people. It's directed at the state of Israel, just like I could be upset with the state of Iran. And let's talk about this peace deal just for a moment. See, cash rules everything around me, right? The people who have signed up to endorse, we're talking about these so-called Arab countries, are all people who are doing business with Trump. Qatar, United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is very interesting because, you know, I think it was 14 of the 9/11 hijackers came from Saudi Arabia, but cash rules everything around me. And so, because you remember we were talking about the comedians who did that comedy special, the Riyadh Comedy Festival that they did, and they justified going where the Saudi government is very oppressive. We're not even talking about just no rights that women have. You know, they've just been able to get driver's license. All right. That's just how restricted that society is. Here's the other thing. Just like in Christianity, we have denominations. In Islam, there's denominations. And the people that are in the Gulf, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, these countries are Sunni Muslim. Iran is Shia. And there's hostilities between Sunni and Shia Muslims. And so, of course, they have an issue with the Saudis have an issue, particularly with Iran. That's why they weren't tripping when they went in and bombed the nuclear sites there, because they hate Iran, right? So there's a lot there. We need to peel it. Be careful of the sound bites that we hear, as I just did sound bites. Be careful of the sound bites that we hear. We need to do a deeper dive. Americans, as a general rule, do not care much about international affairs. And let me thank Rachel Maddow last night, was because I was trying to figure out why Trump was sending $20 billion to Argentina. Well, the reason why he's sending $20 billion to Argentina is that there are some people who are aligned with Trump who has some business interests, and they're basically bailing them out. This dude, or as Madam Vice President said, this here.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, and the crazy part about it is, man,
he loved money so much that all he talk about is what he made and how much he's bringing in and what he's doing, and billions of dollars and billions and billions. And I just really believe that um, he loved money so much that he's willing to do whatever for it. You know,
And for all you Trump supporters, what's that Michael Jackson song? They don't care about us.
yeah,
He don't care about
he
you.
don't care at all.
He don't care about you. It's all transactional with this man.
Yeah,
I was going to bring it up yesterday, and maybe I'll do it either Wednesday or Thursday. Um, do you all believe in the Antichrist?
yeah, Doc.
All right. Well, I'm gonna bring that. We're gonna have a whole discussion.
Yeah, Doc.
All right.
Lawless.
We're listening to.
That cat lawless, man.
I'm gonna bring a psychic in, and we're
Oh
gonna
no,
really try
Doc,
to.
I'm out of here.
We're gonna straighten this thing up. You listen to Community Voice. When we get back, we'll be inside. Be healthy. Be you. We'll be right back.
That's the question.
That's the question.
All right, Bree Bree.
Stand 10 toes down. You understand me?
Who you talking to?
All right.
Got this.
Yeah. That's the question.
Keith, she sounded a little like Tasha just then.
Shit, yeah.
Well, you know, Brenda B only brings Brenda
Oh,
B
Brenda
here.
B.
She don't bring her, her other friends along.
She's pulling out the hood status now, man. Brenda B, you
I know
understand
that
me?
feeling when their alter kick in. Yeah.
Brenda
That's
B
what
in
my
the
son
building.
calls me. Brenda B. Don't
Uh-oh,
mess with
Brenda
Brenda
B.
B.
So that's when you know you're in trouble. When Brenda B
Look
come
so
out.
innocent. Be like, whoa, bring the noise. How you been?
I've been pretty good.
Missed you last week.
Yes, doing lots of flu shots. I was up in Chilton last week doing flu shots. Never been to Chilton before, but
was that like?
it was, well, the downtown was about as big as this room,
Wow.
and
Not the whole downtown.
it was very small, and but it was interesting. We didn't do very many flu shots.
How far away is
Very
Chilton?
small. It's about 70 miles.
In which direction?
Northwest.
Northwest. Okay.
Yeah.
About an hour and 10 minutes.
What kind
No,
of
it took us about an hour and 45 minutes.
Hour and 40.
It's mostly back roads.
yeah, those back roads.
Yeah.
What county do you know? County?
Yes, I do, and I forgot because I looked it up while I was there. I can't remember, but I did look it up. It's right on the edge of another county.
How close is it to? Is it near the Kettle Moraine or?
It's very close to Sheboygan County.
So that's kind of east. So that's
Well, yeah,
Northeast?
but the county comes out wider than the city of Sheboygan. So,
right.
but we went through Sheboygan County coming back. Came through a little city called, what was it called? Brotherstown. I was like, let me drive up on here in Brotherstown and see what this is all about.
was any brothers?
No, I
I'm
didn't.
sure.
I didn't even see the town. It just kind of, we just went through it.
Shit, I didn't even see the town.
It's like, where was it? Oh, you just went through it. Oh, okay.
Hey, I went to college in a town like that called Emmitsburg. It's just like Emmitsburg had one stoplight.
Uh-huh.
And our claim to fame back in the 70s was that we were the only college town in America that did not have a major fast food restaurant.
Oh, wow.
We had no McDonald's, no Burger King, no Pizza Hut. We had the Ott House.
The Ott House.
OTT, the best
Well,
burgers.
at least it was an outhouse.
Yeah, we had the Ott House there. And then as things progressed, and it's also at the end of what they call that Metroplex there, you get to Fred because it's in Frederick County.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're about 8 miles from the Pennsylvania border.
Mm-hmm.
And then another 4 miles from the Gettysburg. So it'd be about 12 miles from the Gettysburg battlefield there. So, one of the advertisements of the school was that right on the Mason-Dixon line, we're literally right on the Mason-Dixon line. It's when I went out there, I had no clue. Should have paid attention when we were doing geography. Had no clue to where I was even going.
Yeah.
And so it must have been maybe my second week there at the school. A couple of guys, they were from D.C. 3 guys were from D.C. And so they wanted to go home. And so we went down, and so we're driving.
Mm-hmm.
And I see the Capitol, and I go, oh, is this the Capitol in Washington?
We're right here.
And they go, well, what did you fly into, Keith? I said, Washington, Baltimore International Airport.
Mm-hmm.
They go, okay, this is the Washington, right? You were in Baltimore.
But when you're that young, you're not necessarily thinking geography was not wasn't as big. I think now with the way the world is, we pay attention to geography, not just here, but internationally, because we don't seem as separated as we used to be, from all these other countries.
Well, and there was a couple of things. Not that I love seafood that much, but I had never had a crab cake, and not that far away from the Chesapeake Bay. There were things out there that I just didn't do. Like we drove through the battlefield to get to Gettysburg, the city, to get pizza, And then 18-year-olds could drink, not in Pennsylvania though.
Mm.
So we, you would go up there for that, but we never went through. But one of the Mamie Eisenhower actually lived on the grounds of the Gettysburg National Cemetery Memorial Battlefield. So it's beautiful.
Oh, I bet.
I mean, there is, driving up from DC, and I had last chance. I was out there for a reunion, and you take 70, and then you get off of 70 to 15. 70 will keep going up, takes you up towards Ohio, Pennsylvania. So you get on 15. Right before you get to the town, actually the city of Frederick, there's this beautiful ridge, and you look down in the Frederick Valley. It is so gorgeous, man. And then going up, the school is actually built in the mountain. So,
cool.
And I'm trying to figure out, because I went out there as an older person, how was I walking up these hills? Because these hills
stayed nice and
right,
healthy, didn't you?
Man,
got all the exercise you
at
needed.
that age. When you think about youth, and when did George Bernard Shaw that said youth is wasted on the young?
Yes.
Your ability to be able to do things physically. We called some junk people out, moving junk out, and had this big chair. This kid, he must weigh about 165, 170. Not only did he pick the chair up, he threw it over into the truck. I'm thinking, I just had a heart attack just thinking that I could do that. I mean, so when you're young, you don't appreciate it.
You don't. There's a lot of things you don't appreciate when you're young. And then when you get older, and I always say, God couldn't give us it all at once. If we had the wisdom that we have now, back when we were young, I don't know.
Some of the stuff I still do though.
It doesn't mean wisdom doesn't mean you don't do it.
Right. I mean, some of it was, it was a good time. It was definitely, but I mean, just everything, how, the process of aging. And when we talk about how we make adjustments, or we should make adjustments, but the process of aging, age has always won. It is never lost. And you hear people say, "Oh man, you look good for your age."
But these joints feel it.
Oh man, I think it's and maybe because we'll be talking about this, I know, as we get more into fall. But I think it's also your mindset.
Well, I mean, I just think of when I was young and my parents were maybe my age, they seemed much older. They looked at the world differently. They have different experiences in life. A lot of people that they knew didn't even live to be that old, and so they just aged in that's just what you do. Whereas I think now we pay more attention to our health because we've learned more. We've been taught you need to do more of this, you need to exercise. We weren't taught that stuff growing up. I mean, we had gym class in school, but nobody told us how this was going to affect. Yeah, nobody wanted to go to gym. You had to change your clothes. You had to shower in front of everybody that you didn't know, and that was painful. That was the worst part of gym. But and you usually had gym in the morning, so you couldn't go around stinking all day long.
I think, we went to Camp Up from Woods, which is a 4-H camp up in the Dells. So different MPS schools would go up, and you go up for 3 days. It was fun. And we were so honored that we weren't a school selected to go. And it was the first time I ever, no, it wasn't the first time. First time I ever took shower with other people was at the boys club. But that was like with your classmates.
Right.
And all of a sudden now puberty.
Yes.
And how puberty, I was talking to a young person, she's 13 or he was 13 either. And they were talking about being 13. I said, man, 13 sucks.
The whole middle school era for children it's horrible. I mean, their bodies are changing rapidly. Their hormones are going crazy. Middle school is the hardest time for kids and parents because kids are mean. They're learning about themselves. You
We
know, some of
clan-
the kids are
we
tall.
clan up.
Yes.
We clan up. I mean, it
Mhm.
is. Then we have to deal with biological attraction.
Mhm.
Now we're dealing
And not knowing what to do with it.
right. They're telling us what to do with it. I know what
Mhm.
you're saying, but I know
Right.
what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
And to be able to have healthy appreciation of things like we were talking about, and I think this all impacts on our mental health. We get older, maybe not so much. It could, but you're body conscious
Mhm.
at that age. Well, maybe some people never grow out of being body conscious.
Oh no, they don't. I mean, I know people who are severely, I mean, everything revolves around what their body looks like. And their body looks great, but they're still obsessed with that.
Do you think that's part of just hoping that you don't age, or?
I think part of it could be, but part of it is also, when you look back, they had some obsessions at a younger age too. It can, body dysmorphia, what they see or what they feel, how they have to look a certain way may not really be realistic. Especially as we age. We know most of us look a little bit different as we age, even if we continue to do the same things, because our metabolism starts to go down each year more and more. So we have to eat less, work harder to even try to maintain the weight. And that doesn't include how our bodies change as we age. So,
And maybe that they once again processed meat, and it's linked to Alzheimer's. And I'm thinking, oh man, I just had a bologna sandwich.
but you don't have a bologna sandwich every day.
No, but then prior to that, I did have a club sub from Cousins.
What's a club?
Turkey
and ham.
Turkey and ham.
Yeah. So, but you don't eat like that every single day.
No,
and some people do. And part of that is because that might be the only thing they can afford. Bologna, sausage, bread, those things are cheap. You could eat for a week off of buying, a couple things like that, hot dogs, bread, ramen noodles. And we know none of that is really healthy, but it feeds the hunger.
Well, it maybe it's more geared for young kids who have a metabolism, it's very, very different. I don't know why. I don't know. I always liked onions, but there were people, especially when they were kids, maybe because of breath.
Yeah,
of
maybe.
onions, but
and some onions can be hot. They can be a lot hotter than others.
What do you? What do they call? Is it scallops? What is the really pungent onion?
Scallions.
Scallions. The
Could be.
scallions are the. I thought those were.
There's so many different things in the onion
but this
family.
is the really
big one.
It's red. Really,
Oh,
really.
like the red onions type things?
No, red onions is different. This is
okay.
I get a very.
I don't know.
If I really want to get it's recipe time. If I ever want to get a real good, like kind of oniony, what is it called? Scallops, but they're a bulb like an onion, but it's red.
Okay.
But it's more pungent.
I don't know.
Than certain onions.
I don't know. But I mean, it could be that I just called it an onion and it was really hot. I just called it a red onion, but it's not really a red onion.
But I always found out with kids, like, we feed them at children's church. And so, but kids have a real pedestrian diet, or taste at this point. And I'm going like, hey, your taste buds are, I was telling somebody, I get real frustrated when I go to a restaurant. I was just at Speed Queen, and these folks come in. Now they're probably in their 60s, and here's the first thing you hear: it don't taste like it used to.
Yeah, because your taste buds
have changed. Yes. It is the same thing they've been doing, right? But your taste,
they've
I don't know about that.
Yeah, it's your taste
Our
buds.
taste buds do that. I mean, that happens to everybody.
I understand that they do change, but I'm not going to mention this particular place. But it's this place down the way, around the corner off of 12th Street, that I could swear that when the grandmama was there, the sauce was it tastes a certain way. The
It
food
could
tastes a
be. I
certain
mean,
way.
you got different cooks now. I mean, they probably try to follow the same recipe,
and
but
and matter of fact, we was just talking about that.
We just
So
had that
We
conversation.
just had that conversation.
Mhm.
Clark Kent is a chef, the guy in the other room.
Yeah.
That's just what he does in his other life. But he was just saying, you know, I can give you the recipe
Yeah.
verbatim, if you will, item per item. You can do all the same ingredients,
Mhm.
but if the love isn't in it,
Yeah.
it's going to taste different.
Yeah, doctor got to taste
I
like
believe that.
love. No, that's true.
You got to.
Well, and if you're a cook, you know, you're throwing it, you know,
Keep
you're
laughing.
throwing a few little extra things in there.
A little
and,
love.
you know,
But
we
you
all
gotta
have
be
our own way of
consistent in the
right.
product, man. But acknowledge
but-
that your taste buds done changed.
Right.
I don't know, 'cause
y'all
it's
won't you won't accept it, man.
I don't know.
Look at all
But
the
the
stuff you
problem,
done put.
Keith, the problem is everybody's taste buds can't be then changed
Yes,
That part.
it's
I don't
age.
believe that.
because if statistically, if we talking about that sauce down there off down that way
around the way, around the
corner,
corner,
and off
12th
12th Street,
Yeah.
it has changed.
Yeah, thank you.
I used that sauce from that place around the way.
Mhm.
That sauce tastes the same.
Really?
Guess what,
telling
Keith?
you, I'm telling
You're
you,
getting
our
the bottle.
taste-
You're getting the bottled version.
Oh, now that could be.
well, then it would. But if I'm getting it out the pot, what would be better, out the pot or in the bottle?
I think in the bottle, because if it's in the pot, then they can water it down so they can stretch it.
Oh, okay.
It's in the process.
Yeah. Okay. I ain't gonna win this argument. So
It's-
I'm
it's
falling
over.
back. I'm
It's
getting
over.
text.
Well,
I'm
I
not gonna win this.
haven't had it before or after, so I have no
Well,
comment.
let me tell you. So let me be the one to tell you. It is most definitely different.
Most definitely.
Yeah. That's when you know it's for
You
sure.
sound like an educated athlete. Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, most definitely.
Most definitely.
Yeah, that's when you know it's for sure.
Is that a double?
Most
Most definitely.
definitely. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I mean, definitely seems to be
For certain.
pretty definite.
But
For certain, huh?
it's most for certain. Extra.
Well,
So most
but
of
no,
us
our taste buds. And then when you think about things that you do over life, you know, alcohol, you know, if you're a smoker, all those things, it impacts your taste buds.
It does. Smoking especially really does.
Yeah, I mean, you're not tasting food
Mhm.
the same way.
So, Debo, do those chips taste the same?
Just as good as they did last week.
They're good as they were yesterday when we heard them.
Yesterday,
Right.
just like chicken skins again today. I got chicken skins.
There you go to with them dolphin skins over there. Fried dolphin back in the bag.
What are they talking about?
No, I think-
All right,
and maybe and that gets, but I think we need to acknowledge there's a process of aging.
Mhm. Well, that's why you see older people who like to eat more junk and sweets and salty
Sweets.
foods.
My mother,
Sweets and salty
mine
foods,
too.
my mother.
because they can really taste
You
that.
can taste it,
And
or
that's why
spicy
they
food. It
like
don't-
those things.
It ain't
Yep.
spicy.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, our
Mhm.
taste buds. You know, now you can do things to clean your palate.
Okay.
You know, where you can really, you know, taste it. But you know, it's like if I'm eating something sweet and then I try to eat something that's salt. Well, if I
Mhm.
don't clean my palate, it's gonna have a very interesting taste. And then our taste buds are all different anyway, right?
Mhm.
Did you use the word very interesting?
Mhm.
Yes.
Go and put that dollar in
It's just like there's certain foods that, like take potassium for example. It's a salt, but it's different than sodium. Potassium has lots of benefits for us. We need it, but and some people who, depending on what their health issues are, we might want them to increase their potassium and decrease their sodium. So you can go to the store and buy certain, like no salt is actually potassium. So you might taste it and say, it tastes exactly like salt. I can't tell the difference.
Mm.
I taste it and it's bitter because our taste buds are different. And so it's not because I just don't like it. I do. It tastes very different to
Tastes
me
different.
than it does to you.
Yeah, and then I'm hypertensive, so then I'm salt sensitive already.
Mhm.
You know, so I can. Ooh, that's really salty. Well, that's
Mhm.
because I'm a little salt sensitive.
So, can you tell the difference between sea salt and the regular salt?
I could.
Well, as far as your body, there's no difference the way your body
Taste.
responds to it.
No, I'm talking about
just
the
the
actual
taste?
taste.
Well,
Yeah.
there's some of them like the truffle salt that some people may taste differently.
Okay.
And one of the things that they do is that they're coarser ground. they tend to be coarser
Yeah,
ground.
yeah.
And so
yeah,
people they taste it more
Yeah,
because it's coarse. But as far as how your body responds to it, if you have high blood pressure or something, it's not better for you than table salt. It's just equally as bad.
Wow.
Yeah. A lot of people say, "Oh, I don't eat that anymore. I just eat that.
Yeah, I use sea
eat
salt.
that sea salt." Well, your body said that's salt. Your body that's salt, and that your body has to deal with that.
And you like chips?
Yeah.
And I don't know. It could be something to this. You remember when Lay's had their whole promotion? You just can't eat one.
Oh my God, they were
Yeah,
so addicted.
man, I think
they
it-
still are. I don't buy those chips much,
Yeah.
but
Man, listen, it was just like the chicken sandwich at Popeyes. They had everybody in line.
people were fighting over
Yeah,
that
they
thing.
you
was
know
fighting.
what?
Yeah, it
that
was some minute.
chicken sandwich was good.
I got killed.
I
Yeah,
never tried.
yeah.
It's
Somebody
like,
got
what were they
killed.
putting in
But
that
listen,
people were
no,
lining up
that-
and fighting.
Well, first of all, they do chicken.
No, but this was
Well,
different
What
though,
I'm
Keith.
saying is,
But-
if you do chicken, you should be very good because I'm sure they have test kitchens where
Right.
people are going in testing recipes. They're before they roll that sandwich out, there's a group of people that they're going to run into and have them.
Mhm. Well, you wonder if they were fighting when
Yeah,
they were
'cause
taste
it-
testing it.
Because it was all over the
You say
country,
what's up?
man.
But they was fighting before they got the chicken, not after they got the chicken.
Ooh.
Well, yeah, that's possible.
Right.
The
But man,
stuff that was going
That's
on-
what happened.
people were getting
No,
out of
but
their
people was
cars
Y'all making
acting
it
and-
sound like
No, seriously, man. People was catching it on camera.
y'all
People-
making it sound like they ate the chicken and then
They did, man.
People were riding
No, they were-
trying
they
to
were-
get the chicken.
Well, yeah,
Right,
but they were
because
going
they were
back to
in
get that chicken,
line
like
and-
chasing that
Yeah,
high.
man. Listen, somebody
Go
tasted
back
it.
and get that
Oh,
They
chicken.
tasted it and went back because I did it, and I had
You fighting?
no. I wasn't
Okay.
fighting, but
Yeah, did you go home and beat up somebody after you ate it?
I ate it and punched
Girl,
myself.
get up in here!
I punched myself.
Right, punch yourself.
Wasn't
Like
nobody around.
Tarzan, huh? Okay.
No, but seriously, after I had the first one, I was like, man, this is really good. And I went back. But when I went back, the
How many
line
people you killed.
So what do you
man,
what do you think made it so good?
I think it was the lorries.
The
I think
lorries?
No, I
The
think
fact that it was something different.
I think what
No, man, because they always had.
I think
I
they
mean-
did a couple of things. Here's the thing about chicken.
Oh, jeez.
Ah,
No, now the Tortillon.
chicken.
I know
I
chicken.
was like, a chicken
I'm
hawk.
a
and I
black
want chicken.
preacher. I know chicken.
Mhm.
But one of the things that they did, the sauce was good. Yeah. But it was the pickle.
That pickle.
It was the pickle.
See,
That
but it was
pickle.
but it was
the pickle
mayonnaise that was on the
special,
sandwich.
or
It was
just
just
oh,
the pickle.
it was
man, it
just
was
the pickle.
mayonnaise pickle. It was mayonnaise and pickles.
Right, but all those things, and that's what a recipe does. A recipe takes it's alchemy,
Yeah.
where you take all these different divergent kind of tastes
Yeah.
and you meld it, and then that's what you get. So it's the total. It's like I don't know how you can do a Big Mac without special sauce.
So
Right.
wait, but question though, Keith.
Two all beef
If it
patties,
was the
special
pickles-
sauce, lettuce, cheese,
There you go.
pickles,
Then what you
onions
know
on a
about
sesame
that?
seed bun.
You
Yeah, but
deserve
here's
a
the key,
break
and it's
today
like
at McDonald's.
Keith was saying, your tongue.
Barry Manilow.
They
Yeah,
that
they
sure
take
did.
you take some sweet. You got a little salt in there. That
Yep.
they just.
But
I get what
it,
you're saying,
though.
Keith.
But why didn't they go crazy over Burger King chicken sandwich? It
Because
was
Burger King's
mayonnaise-
chicken
'Cause it
sandwich
didn't
wasn't
taste the
as
same.
good.
See, but they had two sandwiches. They had the original chicken sandwich.
Now the
And then they
original
had the
chicken
other-
sandwich, I
The
still eat.
original
I
chicken
still eat
sandwich
the
is
original
fire.
chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
That's
Why
the
did they-
long one, right?
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
long one.
Now
So-
the problem
But
is
that one
a lot
was
of
like a
sauce.
processed meat, though.
Yes, it's pressed chicken.
Yeah,
It's
that's
pressed chicken, but it's the salt.
that. I think again, KFC. That was one that you could look at and you knew you were getting breast.
what KFC?
Yeah, that KFC, you were getting the breast. That pickle, Keith
No,
alluded to it.
but
that
I'm talking
pickle,
about
man.
Popeyes one when they was fighting.
That's what I'm referring about. Popeyes.
Oh,
But
not
people
not
weren't
KFC.
people wasn't
I was
fighting.
confused.
But let's
No,
go.
they was fighting, Jack.
They wasn't fighting about the sandwich.
weren't fighting- they was
they
fighting
placing
about
lines.
what they was sandwich.
fighting
Yeah,
over.
they were fighting about being in line. People
Yeah, they
cutting
placing
in front
lines,
of
stuff
them.
fighting
like
over
that.
the
It wasn't-
And they were
no.
fighting because they ran
But
out of
But you know what?
sandwiches.
Thank you.
Thank
They ran out of
Now,
sandwiches.
the homicide
they
rate
was
did
fighting.
go up.
It did. I'm telling you.
Around the chicken sandwich.
Yeah, man. They was fighting over that sandwich, man.
No, but I think that
Wait, but let's clear. It was a sandwich, right?
Right.
it was a
Yeah.
sandwich.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's not
There was
go
two
back
pieces
into
of
that.
bread with meat inserted, as Keith would say. It was
And
a
the
sandwich.
pickle.
And the pickle.
The pickle, I think the pickle just set it off, man.
Something set it
And it was
off.
a different
I
pickle.
never
It was kind of
tried
a
it.
sweeter. It was a different.
it
Because
was-
I wasn't standing in that line,
Listen.
so I never tried it.
I'm not even
All right,
gonna
now
lie.
here come the conspiracy people with a cue.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
They got crack in there.
Here it comes.
Yeah, they
I swear
go.
it was, man.
They get us with the taste.
Listen, when y'all get done, it was something in that sandwich that I said they're gonna have everybody lined up on Sherman and Capitol.
And you know where you
doing
probably
Thriller.
got that from? Undercover Brother. Wasn't that the premise of Undercover
sure
Brother?
was, yeah.
They put something,
They put something in the food.
and then you can control.
You can control them, yeah.
You can control.
I'm telling you, everybody gonna be out there doing Thriller on Sherman.
People wasn't fighting because they ate the sandwich.
Now,
Yeah, because they couldn't get another
They
one.
couldn't get another one.
or they
couldn't get one.
It's because of the sandwich.
I
Then.
didn't eat that sandwich for almost a year.
Really?
After it, yeah. One day I picked up the twins, and I said, you know what? We're gonna go get a chicken sandwich. And so we pull up with one because they were going to school while with Tulsa. We pull up the one at Burleigh. They actually had food, and
did they have
Highway 100 in Burleigh?
yeah, but my guy, one of the twins, the Bell twin, we pull up, so we get chicken sandwiches, and so they looking at the menu. I don't know. I don't think I asked him what he wanted.
He just volunteered.
He told me, he said, I want the shrimp basket. I go, look, we ain't here for the
We get the
sandwiches.
sandwiches. Prime example of what the sandwich would do.
The shrimp basket. That ain't what I brought you.
See, prime example of what the sandwich would do.
See, and some killed. Got killed.
See,
You listen inside the other. When we get back, we'll be back with Miss Brenda Buchanan.
told you.
FM.
Welcome back. Let me, this is flu season,
Yes.
and Jermaine, you were all talking about chicken. How? I was talking about chicken.
Right.
Everybody was talking about chicken.
What is the concern when we see an outbreak of bird flu in chickens? What is the fear that can somehow then
Cross over.
into human beings?
Mm-hmm. I mean, because we've seen, like, you remember the swine flu
Mhm.
when that crossed over, the bird flu. Now we have some cases that have crossed over. So, right.
So, is it? Well, I thought with the flu, it's spread like aerosol. So, I mean, if we ate chicken,
It is, but they can be provided by, direct contact. But even with those eggs are no longer healthy. They're diseased egg.
okay.
And so, and then those chickens become contagious too. So you just want to stop the spread of it altogether.
I
Yeah.
understand that, but I'm
Mhm.
at. So let's say I'm eating chicken
Mm-hmm.
that had the flu.
Mm-hmm.
Can I catch the flu?
No, I wouldn't think so. Not from eating the egg, but handling the eggs, just like with salmonella on chicken eggs and stuff, the way we handle them, cooking them is probably not the issue as much as handling them. Even like when you're talking about the flu, a lot of our stuff is direct contact. So yes, it can be aerosolized, droplets within 3 feet when we talk, we laugh, that sort of thing. But also some of those cold viruses and flu viruses do live on surfaces.
Right.
So we go and we touch it, and then we put it in our
Right.
eyes or our nose or our
Shake
mouth.
your hand,
Right,
And you
and then
cough in
we
your
spread
hand,
it.
and then I do this,
Mm-hmm.
and no, I just so it's more making sure that it doesn't spread. It kind of gets to COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And whether it was what they call wet floors or the slaughterhouse,
Mm-hmm.
or whether it was a virus that had escaped, either way,
Mm-hmm.
you need a carrier, right?
Right.
Like,
And if we wipe out our chickens, we have all kinds of issues. Like our flu vaccine, for example, is created with eggs. And so when we lose our eggs, we don't just lose something that we're eating. We there's other applications that are used for eggs too. That's why when you fill out a flu vaccine, it asks if you have like a severe allergy to eggs, because components of that vaccine was developed in an egg.
so human beings can be almost allergic to anything.
We can be. There's a lot of people allergic to eggs. I'm surprised. Maybe not always the full egg, but maybe the egg white or the egg yolk. But there's a lot of people that are allergic to eggs.
Is this something that has recent phenomenon in terms of peanut allergies? It seemed when I was a kid
Mm-hmm.
that I wasn't aware that people had peanut allergies. Was this something that came along based on?
I don't know exactly the right answer for that, but what I do know is when we did see allergies, we started restricting kids from having peanuts, especially when they were little. And now that has shifted where pediatricians are now recommending you introduce these products individually at an earlier age, because then the immune system, because allergies really are that's all function of the immune system. And so to introduce those early, so that, and watch them to make sure that they don't have any kind of response, that we're going to decrease the amount of allergies that we do have to those.
So when you were asking, and I did fill it out when I did my flu shot, what if I do have an allergy to eggs?
Mhm.
Is there an alternative flu vaccination?
The allergy has to really be a severe allergy. For example, like if you became anaphylactic, you couldn't breathe, you had this overall systemic response, that would be the reason for not using that. There's not that many people that have that kind of response to it.
Well, I guess can I do something else if I do have that severe?
Honestly,
allergic
I
reaction?
don't know the answer to that question.
Okay. No, because I would think that usually you have alternatives used for,
Mhm.
you might be allergic to this,
Mhm.
but then we can give you this.
Mhm.
I was just wondering in terms of what that would seem that the flu vaccines are developed from eggs, um, how that would impact a person who,
Mhm. Well, like for example, during COVID, we had different ways that the COVID vaccine was developed, which gave more options to people who might have had some. Some people were opposed to the way the Pfizer vaccine was developed, but then the Johnson and Johnson was different, developed differently, different technology.
isn't it, and part of this, I guess, in the discussion, I was getting um, that we're putting things in our body. And then and I use this term, and maybe some people use evolve, but mutate. We mutate a lot of times to adjust to our environment, right?
Mhm.
That's what really causes a
Right.
lot of why we're doing what we're doing. Um, but there was a fear. Are there substances that we can put in our bodies that could alter our DNA?
Sure. And I don't know. I wouldn't say your overall DNA structure, but there are things that may alter our cells,
Okay.
that DNA structure of that cell, and that's where we might see cancers, things like that. But as far as altering our total DNA structure, I don't know
Well, I
about
wouldn't say
that.
total.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
because that would.
yeah,
But I'm just saying in
like there
terms,
are certain things that affect our DNA.
because there is, and I don't know how much of a direct cause it might be for breast cancer for women who
Hmm.
might use contraceptives, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
It might not be primary, but it could be a contributor.
And exposure to certain toxins affects our DNA. When we look at, say, exposure to radiation or exposure to different things that our environment can impact our DNA, which is why there are certain things, for example, when somebody is getting certain treatments, there's protective measures in place. Or there might be protective measures in place for the rest of the family.
I just think it's
You know,
funny when you get an X-ray.
everybody else goes the other way,
Right,
right?
they're behind all this protection, and you're
Yeah, you're
exposed, and I'm
right.
just going
You're
like,
like,
"Am I gonna be
is this
okay?"
good? Is this good? You want to do another one?
Yeah.
Yeah. But this flu season we're expecting it to be similar to last year, which was medium to high.
So it'd be between 15 and 30,000.
Yeah. So
Which,
and
when you
that
think
is
about that, I'm talking about death.
right.
15 to 30,000 people out of a country of
Mm-hmm.
300 million.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like, I think that's what made COVID, because
So right.
it was
Mm-hmm.
maybe 5
Mm-hmm.
times a normal flu.
But part of the reason those we have limited deaths, even though we do have more, is because people do take the vaccine. If we didn't have the vaccine and people were always exposed, we'd have, more people that would get sick, more people that might pass away from it. So, especially those people we know who are immunocompromised, older people, their doctors are really on them about making sure they get their adult vaccinations, especially during this time of the year, because they're at greater risk for bad outcomes if they do get sick.
So we can, talk about these comorbidities, right, and how it can impact our ability to fight viruses. Um, so when I take my influenza shot, and I don't know if we can say it enough, it won't prevent me necessarily from getting the flu, correct?
Right. It may prevent you, but it certainly will lessen the symptoms if you do get it. So no vaccine is 100% in prevention. The more people that are vaccinated, the more less likely we are to get these diseases. But the goal of vaccines is to really minimize the bad outcomes. And so if you get it, maybe you're home at sick for a couple of days, you don't feel well, maybe run a low grade fever, as opposed to being out for 2 weeks, running high fevers, being dehydrated, having to have medication to support you because of those symptoms. So the goal is to really minimize that disease.
I had a friend back, and he would complain about headaches, and I would ask him. I said, "Well, how much water did you drink today?" How many, when we think about people when we get headaches, how much of that is dehydration?
A lot of times it's dehydration. We don't drink enough, or we drink more of the things that we think are actually quenching our thirst, the immediate need, but it's actually making us more dehydrated, like caffeinated sodas, coffee, alcohol. Those things really,
Because they're diuretics.
they diuretic, so they cause our bodies to release that fluid, and so we become dehydrated. If you're thirsty, if you feel like, oh, I need to grab something, I'm thirsty, you're already dehydrated. Let me take a swig of this water. But if you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated. Was that good?
Talk about the power
Was
of
that really
suggestion,
good?
right?
Yes.
It was the power of
Everybody's
suggestion.
grabbing their
Like,
drink.
if you're thirsty,
Everybody at home, grab a glass of water. But so you should be trying to prevent that, so drinking fluids on a regular basis. If it's hot outside, you're probably going to need more fluids because you're going to sweat a lot of that off.
and alcohol.
And
Is a
alcohol
bad
is
idea
just
when
going to
it's hot.
dehydrate you.
Yeah.
Yes, people say, oh, a cold beer, it may taste good, but it's really putting you at greater risk for dehydration. So, but our organs are mostly fluid. Our brain, everything is mostly water. And so if you don't have the adequate amount of water, none of those organs can work properly. And so you can get electrolyte imbalances. So you can get cramping, all those sorts of things. But you can also get an electrolyte imbalance from drinking too much water.
And what about, because there's been folks who just swear by high alkaline water. Is there benefit to that?
I don't know. I mean, there's some, most of the studies that say it really is a great benefit are studies that are done by the manufacturers of those waters.
The company, right?
But if you're drinking, water hopefully water that's healthy, that isn't tainted with a lot of different things or has a lot of chemicals in it, even some of your bottled waters are really just tap water. They're not specialized waters. Some of your waters have salt added into them, so you want to look for that. But overall, if you're drinking the normal amount of fluids a day, and that's different for everybody depending on your activity level, depending on, you might have a fluid restriction from your doctor because of a health condition you have. There's a variety of things. But I always tell people, if you urinate and your urine is like clear, you're overhydrated. It should be like a straw yellow, a light yellow color. If it's dark, then that could indicate that you're dehydrated or you have other things going on. But if it's like you're urinating and it's really clear, you're overhydrated. So when that happens, then your electrolytes can become unbalanced.
So I have a quick question for you.
We went the folic test.
So if your urine is like a dark yellow, then you're dehydrating, right?
You could be dehydrated. There are other illnesses that
brown,
could cause that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if it's
If
brown.
it's brown, that's probably more of a issue you need to get checked out. But if your urine just on a day is darker colored, and you haven't been drinking enough, you're dehydrated.
Because so I remember one time I was in the gym and this young man came in to use the restroom, but when he used the restroom, his urine kind of had like a smell to it.
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying, because he was kind of foaming at the mouth too, so he was saying that he was kind of dehydrated.
Yeah, he could be dehydrated. He could have other health issues that made that more likely for him.
Okay.
I mean, that could indicate some liver issues, kidney issues, a variety of different things. So if it's just an occasion and but if your urine, no matter what you do, if your urine is brown or it smells bad, you need to have that evaluated.
Last question. What if your urine has a lot of bubbles in it?
Because you've been doing acid. No, you're drinking soda.
Really?
Yeah.
So it don't
I can
have
tell you
anything to
that
do
if
with
I
the
drink
protein?
soda,
Yeah,
it bubbles.
I've never really
Bubbles.
I've really never noticed bubbled urine, but men it's a little different because you're how to put it, you're standing up probably and have a stronger stream that might create some bubbling.
Okay.
Um
So it's not from
I know what
from
I
the
drink.
protein that's
I know when I'm
leaking into
drinking
your
soda,
urine. But why?
Well, if protein's leaking into your urine, you have bigger problems
Right. Well,
than just
yeah.
what you're. Yeah.
But they
So-
say, man, that that's the signs of something going on with your kidneys, and when you have bubbles in your urine, and it's like proteins that's leaking into your urine.
I've never heard that before.
Really?
I mean, I'm not saying it's not true. I've
Okay.
never heard that before, but you can certainly have protein leaking into your urine and not have bubbly urine.
Okay.
So, but that would be a thing too that, you're, especially if you're diabetic or you have some kidney issues, those would be things your doctor, how they often like put a dipstick in your
Yeah,
urine. They
yeah.
can look for protein spilling into your urine. And that pretty much always indicates something's going on that they
Okay.
need to look further into.
With the kidneys.
Kidneys or diabetes, which would still, it's the kidneys that are being affected because of the, elevated blood sugars.
Oh, wow.
And sometimes that's a correction that can be made with getting your blood sugars under control, or if there's other issues with your kidneys.
Yeah.
Depending on your kidney status, you might be on certain diets
Right.
that limit certain things. And sometimes those things that limit might be things that we normally think are good, like brown rice, brown bread. For certain types of kidney disease, those are high in phosphorus. And so those can be harder for the kidneys to manage. So that's why it's important to always get your annual exam. If you notice anything abnormal, that you have it checked out by a doctor, and don't let somebody else just tell you, oh, it's no big deal,
Right.
it'll be fine.
Right.
You go get it checked out,
Right.
because
Wow.
most things caught early, you can manage them much better than until they get really bad.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
We're inside Be Healthy, Be You. Miss Brenda Buchanan, Ascension, Wisconsin, St. Joseph's campus. And wow, because I'm still sitting up here trying to remember my urine this morning. You can take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
AM and 106.5 FM.
Let me thank my wife. That onion is a shallot. It's a shallot. And people, if you cook and
They're delicious.
yeah.
It kind of's got a sweet little taste to them too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But it gives you a real, if there's such a thing as an oniony
Mm-hmm.
kind of
Hold on, man. I can't let you get away with that word, man.
Oniony.
oniony.
You are a scholar. You can't use those words. Those words are set aside for Debo.
Oh boy.
Jermaine.
That's a Greenfield.
You made up a whole
Hey,
vocabulary.
listen here,
back
man.
there.
You and Clark ought to have a
So
book.
let me tell you something, man. If bootylicious can make it into the dictionary, the words that I use,
How long did it take for Bootylicious to
Not
get up
long.
in there?
she
How long
said
did
it on the
take
song.
how long did it take for 8? Really?
Yeah,
How long does it take for 8 to
make it in.
Keith, Clark used the word, those were some of my most fondable memories.
Fondable?
Yeah, that's a word.
Fondable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that a, is that a word?
You know one of my most fondable memories was?
What was
That I
that?
did a most fondable?
What?
When I cut across 120%.
Cut cross.
Yeah, that had to be a fundable moment.
You know how you
Oh,
hear things
man.
and you think so. That's so across 120th,
Uh-huh.
110th.
110th Street. What was it for you, Jermaine?
It was cut cross 110th Street
Cut cross.
Brenda.
with the hookers and the
We in
prostitutes.
here one
go
day in
free.
between shows and he playing this song. He kept going, cut cross 110th. Oh, he getting down. And I'm
This cat walk
it's
in
eating
like
me up. I'm just like,
What?
and
he couldn't take it no
the
more.
chorus come back around, cut cross 100. He dancing with his mouth.
Oh, you hear what you hear though, man.
Yeah.
Because
I said, man, what are you
What is,
saying?
the Prince song? And you, I thought you funked to the broad daylight.
Yeah.
That wasn't what you was doing to the broad daylight. And it went to my sister car because I'm just dancing. I'm
Erotic City. You referring to Erotic City,
my sister
right?
go, yeah, Erotic City. My
Yeah.
sister go, that ain't what it's saying.
Mm-mm.
And then I listened to it like, oh.
Well, the title of the song was a little bit of a giveaway.
It should have been.
It should have been, but it was also one of Prince's more danceable tunes.
Yes.
My
yes.
grandmother always said, you just a bumblebee, baby. You stung the hell out of me. Mama, where'd you get them words from? Mama, come on now.
What? That's the bumblebee,
You
baby.
just a bumblebee.
You stung the hell out of me.
Make up your own words. It might be a hit record, Mama.
That
Now that I
Bumblebee
think
should
about it,
be
we might have
getting
to.
royalties.
Man, I'm trying to tell you.
Right?
Right?
You got been singing, you dropped the bomb on me. Now, where'd she get that from?
Oh,
No,
is that
but-
what she was singing?
Yeah.
You just
You
a
dropped
Just
the
a
bumblebee.
bumblebee,
baby.
baby. You stung the hell out of me. Whoa.
Wow.
Mama done made it to the you got a hit, Grandma.
Granny, what choice words you have?
Now going to the store trying to find it.
You right.
Yeah, I need that Bumblebee
You got that
song.
bumblebee song?
Man,
the
we don't
Bumblebee
have a
song.
bumblebee. So, yes, you do.
No, but that is true, Keith.
Should we be testing our hearing as we get older?
Yes, absolutely. Because a lot of those things come gradually, right? So we don't notice them, but yes, you should. Especially
I'm more
if
sensitive
you
to loud now than I've ever
ever
been in my whole life.
Yeah.
I mean, I can adjust to
Mhm.
it, but man, loud. I walked past one of Debo's speakers
Mhm.
for the
my God.
band, and there was some sound coming out.
Yeah.
My ears were like, whoa, because I walked right in front
Right
of
in-
the woofer.
yeah.
It was
Mhm.
like, oh. But you see a lot of that with entertainers
Oh,
where
yeah.
they're
Well,
losing their hearing.
Sure.
Well,
Mhm.
now, man, they wearing these in-ears now.
In ears, right.
So
Mhm.
yeah, so with the in-ear, so you can control how loud you want it, how soft you want it, and a lot of them, when they do the sound check, they have them take all of the music out and just leave the vocals in, so they can just hear the vocals. But then you set it however you want it set, so it's not irritating your ears.
Yeah, because because I know you have the monitors.
Yeah,
There's people
Doc.
using monitors, but
But you know what you found that as entertainers, man, a lot of that stage space, because stages aren't always as big as they appear,
Yeah.
but you're eating up a lot of that space with wedges,
Equipment.
as they call it.
Yeah.
So you eliminate those by doing the in-ears.
Yeah. Yep.
So again, we encourage people to, if you haven't gotten your flu shot, get your flu shot. Obviously, there are people, I think your shingles.
Yeah,
And
depending
COVID-19.
on your age, talk to your doctor about the shingles shot. It's a series. It's 2 shots. But also, if you might need the RSV shot this season, that's something you would talk to your doctor too about your health, your age, to determine whether or not that's something that you need. COVID shot also, um, with the new variants for this year, and then the pneumococcal vaccine. So those are
That's
all
for
things.
pneumonia, right?
Yes, for pneumonia. So those are all things, especially if you're a little bit older, you should be having a conversation with your doctor about all of those.
Now, we were having a discussion last week, and just so hopefully I'm giving the correct information. There's 2 types of pneumonia that one can get.
There's viral and bacterial.
How do I get the viral?
It's spread just like any other virus, airborne, droplets, close proximity.
And bacterial?
And bacterial can be spread the same way. The difference is bacterial is a bacteria, so it's treated with antibiotics. It can be much more serious. Viral can still be very serious too, but with viral there is no antibiotics because viruses don't respond to antibiotics. So
with viruses,
it's
do
an
we kind of
infection
treat
of
the
the lung.
symptoms? Is that
Yeah, when a virus, you provide supportive care to treat the symptoms. So decreasing the cough, decreasing the inflammation in the lungs, staying hydrated.
you talked about how important is it that we cough?
Well, coughing is the body's way of expelling whatever that, especially if we have a cold, that's the body's way of trying to clear the lungs out and get that stuff out of your lungs. However, sometimes coughing can be too much and you need to suppress it. People can crack a rib when they're coughing too much, especially those dry coughs. You can also, you need to be able to sleep at night. So you might, so there's a balance between suppressing that cough and not. If you're coughing things up, you want to be able to cough those things up. So, but there are medications that can help with loosening that up as well as suppress the cough a little bit. But you don't want to always just totally suppress a cough if you're producing something. You want to get that out.
So, I heard that like it's productive cough. Right.
Right.
I do when I get colds. I try to spit everything out because it can go back in. And so
yeah, get into your lungs, cause problems.
Right. So I try to, if it comes up, it's awful.
Yeah.
Depending on, what it looks like, but I'm like, I need to get it out, and that's probably why I'm coughing.
Yeah. And sometimes you get a cough if you have like a head cold because you get the tickling in the back of the drainage, from your sinuses and stuff going down the back of your throat. So you may not have anything in your lungs, but you're coughing because your throat's getting irritated and, from all the drainage.
Is this still an allergy season, the fall?
Oh, the fall can be horrible for certain, like mold and mildew. That you're in your house more. So every season brings different types of allergies that are more prevalent, but the fall can be really bad with all the moisture.
I know you talked about this. Is there certain supplements we can take, vitamins and things like that, especially when we're looking at the possibility of catching a cold or things?
A multivitamin is always good. That's because you're not going to have too much of anything to overwhelm your body or cause problems. Vitamin D levels for most people here in Wisconsin, especially people of color, we have low vitamin D levels. Your doctor can check you for that if you want. And a supplement with that because we don't absorb it, especially darker skin. It's a little bit harder to absorb, but also with
like the sun?
From the sun. That's where our primary source of vitamin D is from the sun. And then also at this time of the year, the sunlight goes down and then we're more covered. So our hands are covered, arms are covered, all those areas of the skin that could actually absorb that vitamin D. We're covering those up. You really only need a good 20 minutes of exposure a day. But most of us don't get that, especially in the fall and winter. And you can also have issues where your body doesn't really absorb and convert the vitamin D the way it should. So a lot of people take supplements that are in the northern parts of the United States, and that affects your immune system significantly. Another one people often take is vitamin C. With vitamin C, you don't want to overdo it either. Your body's just going to pee it out. So there's chewable vitamin C's, maybe 500 milligrams, 1,000 milligrams, that you can buy.
What were Flintstone vitamins?
I know they had a lot of vitamin C in them. That's why they were
Man,
delicious, right?
delicious.
When we were kids, those were delicious.
Man.
You wanted to take your vitamin in the morning. So there's, but you can always talk to your doctor about it. They know your health. They know what medications you're on. Certain vitamins you want to take with food. Some you don't need to take with food. Some need that food for absorption, so you're not going to absorb it. Some vitamins go together to help absorption. So it's always a good idea to talk to your doctor about those things, so you can get what your body actually needs and not just throw stuff into it that your body has to break down that doesn't need it.
Are you all still doing flu shots in the community?
We are still doing flu shots in the community at the stock boxes at St. Joe's on the first Wednesday of the month from 10:30 to 12:30 at the 51st and Chambers entrance. That's the old entrance, not the new one. And then we've been out and about in other places. Ebenezer always has vaccines available. Julie is usually there on Wednesdays and Thursdays during the day.
It is like I said, that time we're going to make the shift. I was just looking that this year, because it's been so warm, the leaves are not
Really falling yet.
Yeah,
They're
'cause
going to.
they're-
Usually by my house, we don't drop until late November, which is always crazy because the street, they say they stop picking up leaves like that second week in October. And we know our trees are still full. I don't know why they set that date, because they know they're going to have to come back and continue doing it
and you can have a
well
snowfall.
into. Mm-hmm.
Well,
So, and there are a lot of colds going around now too, different viruses. Wash your hands, go back to doing those things that we know work. Wash your hands. If you're sick, stay home if you can.
yeah. And when is the cold most communicable or spreadable?
The colder it gets, the more we're indoors.
No.
Okay.
I'm
Oh.
saying in terms of if I have a cold.
Oh, okay.
Is it the early onset of that cold?
It's usually the early onset. And oftentimes, especially with the flu, we're already shedding the virus before we might be even having symptoms. And the flu is one of those that doesn't gradually come on. So if you've got a little bit of a cold, stuffy nose, and it gets worse and worse and worse, and you feel horrible, the flu, like you wake up and 2 hours later, boom, it hits you and it kind of overtakes. But you can be shedding that virus way before you are even starting to feel sick.
How would I
So-
shed the virus? That's interesting.
Through sneezing, coughing, talking, again, droplets. When we talk, we go at about 3 feet and they drop. Somebody could still touch those surfaces, or if we're having a conversation with them, even in the store, passing people are laughing, coughing, then, you got about 6 feet. So it's in the air. The thing about droplets though is they're heavy. So they go out and they fall pretty quickly, but then they fall onto the surfaces. Whereas those things that are aerosolized really kind of hang in the air a lot longer. But flu and stuff, colds, a lot of that is droplets.
Wow. I always learn something.
Well, that's good. I learned something today too.
What fondable?
Fondable, bubbly urine.
Bubbly urine. She did. She looked it up.
I
Yep.
did.
She
Bubbly
looked
urine.
it- bubbly urine. Shallots.
Shallots. I just call them little purple onions and eat them. But
Little
I do have dried shallots at home in a jar
Okay.
from Penzies. They
Okay.
make dried shallots. So
Same taste.
throw them in soups and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. Well, it's soup time. Huh?
Yes, it is. I made chicken noodle soup. I make a big pot of soup every Sunday once it starts getting cold.
Really?
Anything you can think of. I create half my soups, but on Sundays I always make some sort of delicious smelling soup to eat for
That's
part of the week.
what makes soup smell so good.
Mhm.
Why does anybody thought it was a good idea? I don't know why my Ron Banks's mom thought it was a good idea when I probably had one of those foodborne viruses
Mm-hmm.
to give me tomato soup.
Oh, yeah, which can be hard on people's tummies
well,
anyway.
it was hard on their carpet
Yeah, I
because
bet
it came
was.
back up.
Oh boy, yeah.
Is there any medicinal benefit to chicken soup when
There
people have a
is.
cold?
There is. Studies show that there is. You're taught, especially if it's a homemade chicken soup, you're getting the bone broth, which really helps with our immunity. You're getting all those good things from making that homemade chicken soup. So it does have some medicinal value to it.
Best soup to have, y'all, with a grilled cheese sandwich.
Say that again.
Homemade tomato soup.
Best soup to
Yeah.
have. Yeah, tomatoes.
Yeah,
And,
tomato soup with a grilled cheese sandwich.
okay, I'm just checking.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think any other soup that will fit with with a grilled cheese sandwich.
I don't know. I think any kind of creamy soup might. Have you ever tried like a squash soup or a? No, seriously. If you haven't had it, don't be acting like you're throwing up over
I
there.
think I don't like squash.
Oh well, you don't even know what kind of squash it is, so you don't like any squash.
I didn't know it was more.
You
than
don't
one.
like zucchini. You don't
No,
like
I don't
yellow
like
squash.
Now, asparagus.
You don't
I
like spaghetti
asparagus.
squash. You like asparagus.
I like
Like
asparagus.
Okay.
zucchini and squash and cucumbers are all in the same.
They're in the family.
In the
Yeah,
same
they're
family.
cousins.
They
So would
can't
you?
focus on it.
So
Yeah,
what's
they
what's
can.
what's So what is a cucumber? Is it a fruit or a vegetable?
It's a vegetable. It
Technic-
falls in a fruit.
It's a fruit
Technically, it's a fruit because of the seeds.
because of the seeds. That's the difference.
Tomatoes too.
Say, man. See, and it takes me back to my point of what I was originally told about October and days of the week and all this other stuff, man. I just don't believe this stuff, man. Like, how can a cucumber be a fruit?
It has seeds
It
in
has
it.
seeds in it. That's what
That's what a fruit is.
That's what a fruit is.
Okay.
We've
I get it.
always put them in the veggie family,
Yeah, I was gonna
just
say,
like tomatoes, but from a I guess what's the right word? They
Botanical?
are yes, botanical. They are fruit.
Now, again, from what we was taught in school, because we was taught when they had we were
Oh, you're a
because
great
when they
kid.
had the chart of the
Mhm.
fruits and vegetables and
Mhm.
things like that, that was in the vegetables.
You will still see that on a lot of charts, but you'll
Yeah.
also say, well, they're really a fruit, but we count them as a vegetable.
That's crazy.
They're low in sugar, not like some of the other fruits.
Remember, and this is you probably weren't even around then when Reagan was saying that ketchup was a vegetable.
Yes.
Ketchup.
They were
Yeah.
trying to figure out how to short the kids with school lunch, and so they said the ketchup was a vegetable.
Doesn't matter that have all that sugar added to
Right,
it or anything.
right.
Right.
But no, tomatoes are fruit, cucumbers are fruits,
Mhm.
zucchini has seeds.
Zucchini has seeds in it.
So that'd be considered a fruit. So
Mhm.
again, when was the goalpost moved? Because when I was in school, we was taught
It was probably always,
You're still being taught that, but technically it's a fruit.
and that's probably more has everything to do with the food industry
Mhm.
than it does in
Mhm.
terms of science.
so. Then that means again that the cucumber is a fruit and not a vegetable, right?
Mhm. The
What-
good thing is
What would be a jalapeno?
you can count it as your veggie. I'm going to let you count it as your
Okay.
veggie.
What would be a
okay?
jalapeno?
Hot.
What makes jalapeno
All
hot?
peppers have seeds.
Seeds. That's what makes it hot. That's why when you get
But why do they
poppers-
put a jalapeno in the vegetable category?
Because it's green, probably.
I think when we think of fruit, historically, we tend to think of something more sweet.
Yeah, like oranges,
Right.
and apples,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
watermelon, and
Right.
things like that.
Right.
But and maybe because it's green, and we think about leafy kind of like what would be a potato?
Potato is
vegetable,
a
right?
vegetable, but it's a starchy vegetable.
It's a starchy vegetable.
So when you're looking at my plate, we consider that a starch, not a vegetable.
So
as far as,
onions
eating
would
healthy.
be- onions would be a vegetable.
Hmm.
So basically, what they taught us back in the day is not true.
They taught you what they knew to teach you. And you will still see that when you look at your vegetables. You'll see those things listed in there.
Right.
But it's
But
not
if-
true.
But if you read if you get real technical about it or read some of the fine print, it'll say, well, it's really in the fruit category.
Well, why would
mean,
they
for-
just say that?
I don't know,
I
because
think that chart, that food nutrition chart, was done by the Department of Agriculture. I found this out working because food stamps come from the Department of Agriculture.
Okay.
So
Mhm.
they'd always do that food chart.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, then somebody said, that food chart is something you said earlier, is done by the food industry. Right.
Okay.
So they have a vested interest in you purchasing, and the agriculture department was kind of complicit in that. They're not necessarily giving you exact science, but if it has a seed in it, it's a fruit.
Mhm. But don't let that stop you from eating all your nice, healthy vegetables. We're going to count those as vegetables because
Yeah.
of the nutrients they have to offer up and the low sugar. We're going to count those. Okay.
See, because it's kind of hard to undo.
Don't
what's been there
undo.
for
You don't have
for
to
30
undo it.
plus years.
It doesn't really make a difference in your life. Don't undo it.
And that's
Don't
what
try
makes
to undo it.
and that's what makes adult learning so difficult, because
Yeah,
adults have
you got
to
to undo.
unlearn
Yeah,
in order to learn.
yeah.
Mhm.
Brenda, thank you.
Yeah.
Be healthy, be you. Debo, thank you.
Yes, sir.
I
Jermaine,
learned
thank you.
something new
Clark,
today.
thank you. Okay, wherever he is.
Yeah.
All right, good Lord willing, creek don't rise. Hope to talk to everybody tomorrow. And as always, go from this place in peace.